So there's been a lot of debate as to whether the 4-year Bitcoin cycle is broken. But what comes next? All the signs are pointing to the beginning of a bear market. But quarter ends in 1 week. And it seems like the money printer, or better said, not the quarter. What am I talking about? QT ends in 1 week. And it seems like the money printer is about to be turned on again. We have a lot of conflicting data to cover, but before we get into all of that, let's check out this clip from Lynn Alden from the What Bitcoin Did podcast, where she was discussing this very topic.
There's been pretty weak kind of just broad retail demand. The narrative has been elsewhere. And so the combination of pretty concentrated demand side stuff, kind of moderate liquidity situation, and then the ongoing pressure of OGs or semi OGs selling into the strength is giving some weakness. The bullish part, I would say, is that there's no particular reason to believe that there's a 4-year cycle intact. We haven't hit euphoric levels this cycle compared to prior cycles. Therefore, there's less of a reason to expect kind of a major capitulation of sorts. I mean, that's, I guess, famous last words, but basically you hit less euphoric highs. There's kind of less to potentially wash out. And I think as we return to a more pro-liquidity environment, and as some of the coins that were maybe held for the wrong reasons are already kind of evacuated, I think the cycle could go on for longer than people expect, because it's not driven by the halving. It's driven by broader macro and interest in the asset itself.
So Lynn Alden always dropping the alpha. And of course, shout out to Danny Knowles and the What Bitcoin Did podcast. I really recommend watching that episode. It was a fantastic episode. Lynn dropped so much sauce. But yeah, guys, this is where we are. Bitcoin's going to zero. It's over. Pack it up. Sell the chairs. It's done. The Ponzi scheme has ended. No, but we've been here before. Personally, this is going to be my third bear market, if it is a bear market. It's going to be Opti's third as well. And yeah, if this is your first time in Bitcoin, welcome to the Bitcoin roller coaster. At least we're getting some volatility. Bitcoin was a stable coin for all of 2025. But, again, this is uncharted territory. This is where I agree with Lynn 100%, because we never got a euphoria phase. In fact, as prices stand now, we are red for the year. So we had the meme, the Bitcoin meme, for anyone who's not in the know, is 3 green, 1 red. What does that mean? Yeah, that means that you have 3 green years. The last green year tends to be the parabolic year, which is supposed to be 2025. And then you have 1 bear market year. How things are structured right now is it seems like we've had 2 green years. 2023 and 2024 were fantastic from a price action perspective. And then, 2025 has been lackluster, to say the least. We did hit an all-time high in October of $126,000. But again, there was no euphoria. I think the last time I felt euphoria was, and it was just a sliver of it, was November and December of 2024. Really right before the Trump inauguration. So I've been making the jokes about this, like bring back Operation Choke Point 2.0, bring back the Biden administration, because at least the price was pumping. But to go back to Lynn's point, and Opti, if you could pull this up, because I do want to show everybody Bitcoin's performances throughout the years, the Q4, that website that you always go to. So yeah, guys, cheap sats. This is great. You get Bitcoin at a discount. 20% down, 30% down. I also want to show you guys the fear and greed indicator. Opti, if you can pull that up as well. It's never been this bad. And I'll show you guys an example of a post, and then we'll go through some other source material as well. And of course, guys, you guys know the deal. We'll be here to, cover this while, we experience another Bitcoin bear market, if that is what is in the cards for us. But this is what I want to show you guys. Check this out. This is the lowest fear ever, lower than even FTX collapse. Returning will be massive. Let's see. So the FTX collapse, where the price of Bitcoin nuked to $16,000, right now, as we're sitting at 90 or 88,000, but 86,669. Holy cow. Literally, like, we're at a worse sentiment right now than we were at the bottom, or basically the bottom of the last bear market. So, this goes through this evolution that Opti and I have been going through. And we talk you guys through this whole process, what Opti and I are feeling, what we're talking about. This is the #1 culture show in Bitcoin after all, right? And this has been a very surprising cycle. Very unexpected things have happened. And the price action is one of them, right? Which is currently what we're enduring. Now, again, I've been saying this the last couple of days. I'm going to repeat myself, so be it. This is exciting for me. And the reason it's exciting is because, and I tweeted this out the other day, and it almost got like something along the lines of, did we drop off?
Yeah, it's acting weird again.
So I tweeted this out the other day, but I basically said something along the lines of, like, I'm excited. And you're like, Nico, why the hell would you be excited with this price action? Like, are you regarded? And I would say it's exciting because no one knows what is going to happen, which is the way markets should work. One of the things that worried me in the beginning of the year, and you guys could go back to these episodes, I was talking to Opti and I was like, dude, like, everyone has it marked that the end of the year, we're going to go parabolic. Like, everyone took that to the bank, literally. And that's clearly, as you guys could see, not what's happening. Now, if you could pull up that previous chart, Opti, I wanted to talk about that for a second. Just to kind of give you guys a perspective, and I'm a little blind here. So could you zoom in, Opti? So we're going to go through all the Q4. So Q4 of 2014, we were down 16%. Q4 of 2018, we were down 42%. Q4 of 2019, we were down 13%. Q4 of 2022, we were down 15%. And if you could scroll up, because it's kind of covering it, Opti. Q4 of 2025, we are down 22%. So it's been literally one of the worst performing Q4s in Bitcoin's history. Now, I know we still have a month left. The good news, as I said in the beginning, the intro, is that Powell has officially signaled that QT is going to be over in December 1st. So the money printers could be, turned back on. But, enjoy the ride, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Bitcoin roller coaster. It's back. The uncertainty is back. The expectations have been crushed. They've been ground down to zero, right? And that actually has brought life back into me again, because we went through this very, very boring sideways action for so many months. And during that boring sideways action came this expectation that Bitcoin was going to perform. That was the expectation of the general consensus of the market. And as markets do what markets do best, guess what happened? The market did exactly the opposite of what everyone was expecting, right? These are what markets do. So right now, if you go on X and you go on any of your favorite influencers or YouTube creators, and you look at what they think is going to happen and potentially is going to happen, nobody has got it right this cycle. Nobody. We had professionally written reports, I'm not going to name any specific people, by massive corporations, massive banks, saying 150K by the end of the year. In the beginning of the year, just to, remind you guys, we were throwing out 300, 400, 500K. That's what everyone was saying. And then as time went by, those price expectations went down. Then they went down to 150. Then I saw a report the other day and went down to 125, right? So yes, welcome to Bitcoin. Life has been brought back into me because now we are in complete uncertainty. We're in complete fear. No one knows what is going to happen to the price. Everyone has got it wrong. All the chain analysis, all the analytics, all the indicators that point to a market top, none of them went off. Not one. Welcome to Bitcoin. I'm excited. This is fascinating to me. This is exciting. This uncertainty is great. I like it. Life has brought it's brought life back into me again. So guys, enjoy the ride, enjoy the cheap sats, and remember, we are on a mission. And that mission is the separation of money and state. And if you can't handle the volatility, go buy the S&P 500. In fact, this year, you probably would have been better off if you did that. But if you're here for the core mission, and what is the core mission? To become sovereign individuals, then the price going down is fantastic news for you because it means cheaper sats, which is great. So you should, again, you could call it Cope, you could call it Hopium, you can call it whatever you want to call it, right? But the reality is that this cycle did not play out how every single person expected. That's how markets work. And the reality is that we're sitting at $86,000 on November 20th. Opti, I'm going to pass it on to you. That's my bit, bro, because we had a lot of pre-show, back and forth kind of talking about this. How are you feeling right now, bro?
I'm honestly having fun. Look, guys, we literally went through the what's it called again? The Wall Street chart. And we were like, okay, if it's still kind of playing out, where are we right now? And I am firmly in denial right now. Okay. I know I've been telling you guys, my buddy's been hitting me up, and I said I wasn't going to give him the satisfaction yesterday, but he kind of nailed it. I'm not going to lie. He kind of nailed these tops, though I think he's wrong in the sense that I'm still convinced this is the last shakeout. Again, I told you guys I'm in denial. I still think we still have life in us. I know all of the kind of models have been broken this year, which is kind of what I was telling you yesterday. I was having this talk with Nico. I believe it was Monday night. He called me at like 10 o'clock and he's like, dude, I just went down this rabbit hole of every influencer, every price analysis person, every Bitcoiner that makes any kind of forecast of where we're going. And I'm more confused about where we are than ever. And I was telling you guys this yesterday, and then today, obviously we wake up and we're getting ready for the show, and now we're at what, like 86 or something?
We're back at 87.
All right, there's still some life in us. But as we were sitting here, I'm very clearly in denial about where we are. If you're looking at this objectively, it does look like we are in bear market territory. But again, because everyone is saying that we're going into a bear market, we're going down to, I don't know, 30K or something like that. 58K gang still got control here. It's making me feel like what would be the opposite of that? Obviously, I'm not really convinced that we're going to just start ripping right away. But what has been the trend all year long here? It is more sideways action. So I'm watching this price right now and wondering if we're going to continue to go sideways here. I remember British Hodl's been out there on Twitter, and he called the 87K drop. He's like, there's not enough pain in the market yet. And we finally hit 87. So I'm kind of on that page that we're just going to keep going. Like we hit those numbers. We're going to go sideways. I thought it was going to be the CME gap futures or CME futures gap that was going to kind of be the bottom. 87, we're at 87. So if we can hold this area, then I'm going to continue to maintain my denial until I see further proof and we go lower. I'm still hopeful. I'm still holding out that we got another leg up on us right now, because again, my basic premise is one thing, and I said it yesterday on the show. if you are these institutions and you're finally able to get into the space, what would be the thing you want to do? You want to shake out the true believers. And this price action, though Bitcoiners aren't going to sell all of their bags, this price action is making everyone feel weird. Everyone's feeling that, that bear market, bottom of your stomach drop. And we're like, man, is it happening again? And even my most bullish friends are starting to feel that we are finally entering a bear market. There's only a few holdouts left with me that are saying, no, dude, this is the final shakeout. Do not get shaken out. And again, the more my buddy keeps telling me he's selling his bags out and he's going to buy lower, the more I just keep thinking it's like, he's going to get caught off sides. Maybe this is me just being hopeful, but it's very clearly obvious that everyone has been wrong about the price. We thought the institutions coming in were going to kind of maintain a certain trend. It looks like everything is out of the table. It looks like we are in uncharted waters. The more I see people panicking about what's going to happen, the more people are thinking it's over. The more I just keep thinking like, this is the shakeout. The Max Payne scenario is everyone thinking it's going to zero, selling out, and then they're chasing their bags right now. So, look, I don't know what's going on here, but you asked me how am I feeling right when I was sitting on the show. You start to feel the bear market pit, your stomach dropping on you. And I hate that feeling, guys. I hate when my stomach drops, like literally in cars and roller coasters. I don't really like it. But as I was feeling my stomach drop on me, I was low key sitting here just like giddy. I'm like, all right, well, we wanted some price action. We wanted some price movement. We've been complaining all year about it being a stable coin. And now it's dropping on us, and I'm starting to feel life back in me. Now, am I ready to go into a multi-year bear market? Not at all. That's going to be brutal. The last one was brutal. So I'm very clearly in denial. I'm still holding out. There's still a lot of game left in 2025. We have, about 6 weeks left. Anything could happen. So I'm going to be in denial until about Christmas time. I'll tell you guys that much. Hopefully we get some life back in the markets. But this extended cycle, as much as I don't like this meme, it does. Oops, wrong one. It does seem to be playing out, especially when you consider the macro conditions going on. Again, globally, it looks like the money printers are about to go on. And the only thing that seemingly can save us right now is the money printers going burr again. As we've been covering, as anyone that's been covering the macro markets have been showing, this has been the driest global liquidity we've seen. The business cycles are absolutely cooked. And I am going to read the Jordy Visser, and he dropped a new article. And it's basically making the case that he's bullish for 2026. So I don't know. I literally don't know. We say it all the time. Sometimes you have a really good feeling about where things are going. Like what you were saying the other day, Nico, you in the past, you could look at the price pumping and you have kind of an expectation of what it's going to do. And then you see the price dumping and you sort of have an expectation that, hey, it's going to go back up. Where we are now, we're just like, what? It's just going sideways forever. What's going on here?
Yeah. So, and let's talk about the euphoria aspect and a lot of these terms, perhaps you guys are not familiar. So we're referring to the famous Wall Street cheat sheet. You can go to wallstreetcheatsheet.com. You can take a look at it. It's become a meme at this point. But what tends to happen at the end of a bull market, including in traditional markets, is you have this thrill and this euphoria phase where you feel fantastic. You feel like the price is going to continue going up forever. We never really had that, right? So essentially we've gone from, I would say hope, or hope or optimism to we've, Opti's in denial. I've already,
I'm totally in denial.
I've already come to
You're already at depression.
No, I mean it's not like I wouldn't call it depression or anything. I've just come to terms with the fact that it seems like the 4-year cycle, if it seems like it's intact at the moment, right? Like the 4-year cycle is intact until it's not. And what I'm seeing is that it looks like it's intact so far. Now, of course, you have geniuses like Lynn Alden, Michael Saylor, very respectable, intelligent people saying, listen, this time is different because of the amount of institutional demand and because of the players who are buying Bitcoin. That could be true, right? Like, you know what the curveball would be in 2026? If, and I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks, if all of a sudden we were pumping again, bro, and we were making an all-time high in 2026, that would be uncharted territory where we already are now, right? So this is exciting. We get to experience this with you guys. I've this is my third cycle. So again, this is super exciting to me because I don't have anything to look back and say, oh, I know this feeling, or I've been here before, or this is how Bitcoin behaves. No, it's completely uncharted territory. But I do remember the feeling of, oh, it's a bear market, right? I do remember that feeling. I think I've come to terms with it a lot faster than Opti has. But that's where I'm at right now. I'm saying, okay, it's a bear market. Bitcoin's going to correct for the next year or so. We might go back down to 60, 70, 50, 40, 30. No one knows, right? This is the exciting part. But again, it becomes the best buying opportunity for people that are thinking long-term and for people that are in it for the revolution, for people that are in it for the money, for people that are in it for the short-term kind of price action. All those people get washed out. All the tourists, they all get washed out. All the leverage gets washed out. All the altcoins, to put it nicely, all of that, it just goes to zero, right? And then Bitcoin survives. Bitcoin keeps on pumping, right? So this is where we're at. I think me and Opti disagree in terms of, where we're at. I would say I'm in the capitulation, or the thing is, I won't even get angry. I won't even get angry at this point. I've been through this so many times by now that I'm just like, okay, it is what it is, But hey, look, if you look at it on the bright side, we had a run from $15,000 to $125,000 in a span of like 2 years, 2.5 years, 3 years. That's an insane return. That's fantastic. Of course, that takes into account that you had to buy the bottom, of course. But regardless, it's Bitcoin had a great run, and now we're in uncharted territory. Is the 4-year cycle intact? Is 2026, is the midterm year going to be a bear market year, or are we going to see something different? And I mean, you have very intelligent people saying, hey, this cycle is fundamentally different. And Lynn, to use her word, she's expecting 6 figures in 2026 and 2027, right? So again, these aren't just random plebs or Bitcoiners on X that are just shiitake posting, right? Like they're these are macro heavyweight geniuses that are saying this, right? Another thing that I'll mention too is we played you guys the clip of SAYLOR. I don't know if it was on yesterday's show or the day before, but I heard a hint of nervousness in his voice, right?
Did you?
And one of the things that you guys have to understand is that MicroStrategy's current average price right now is $75,000. We're at $87,250, right? So MicroStrategy's average buying price is $75,000. We're at $87,269.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he's getting liquidated at 75.
It doesn't mean he's getting liquidated, but you and I both know that if that number hits, what do you think is going to happen to the stock?
Cooked.
What do you think is going to happen to the stock?
It's going to look like a shitcoin chart. Well, even more than it already does.
I mean, I wouldn't call MicroStrategy a shitcoin.
No, I'm saying the price will look like a shitcoin chart.
Yeah, the price action will definitely look, it will definitely be very volatile. But at the same time, I think that's a fantastic buying opportunity as well. I'm personally a spot Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, put it into self-custody type of guy. But you know, if you're kind of coming from the traditional financial system and you want more of a leverage bet, I promise you that MicroStrategy is going to rip once the bull is back. The only question I think on everyone's mind right now is how long is the bull going to take to come back?
Well,
right?
and how low?
And how low are we going to go? Right. But again, if you've been taking our advice, staying humble, stacking sats, none of this affects you. You're just going to get cheaper Bitcoin. Right. So yeah, it's exciting times. I'm personally excited because again, we are in uncharted territory. I love it. It's fantastic. Nobody knows what's going to happen. It's so effing cool that I can say that, right? Because that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case for so long. Everyone knew. Everyone knew. Everyone's like, oh my God, Q4. We were on that boat. We were like, dude, Q4 2025.
Dude, October, 300K by end of year. Dude, my oracles were wrong. This is the first time they've been wrong. I'll tell you that much.
So anyways, if you guys are enjoying the show so far, I want you guys to smash that like button. Do want to give a shout out to the audience. 663 live viewers on YouTube. Almost 100 live viewers on Rumble.
Dude, it's therapy. Everyone's tuning in for
and thousands. This is what Simply Bitcoin's all about. We'll be your guide through the separation of separation of money and state, and that includes being your online therapist while the Bitcoin price is dumping.
Yeah, why we cope as well. Can you
put my volume up
on your headphones?
Yes, thank you.
I did do a poll in here, and we don't have enough data in here. But it's literally split right now, 50-50 if the bull run is over. So I was hoping, honestly, I was hoping to see that it would be 80% of you guys saying that it was over, because then I would know it wasn't over. But since we're so split and everyone's confused, I have no indicator of what's going on. So yeah, unfavorable.
It's exciting time. So did you post the poll yet?
Yeah, it's live. It's live right now, but it's literally okay. Bull run is not over 52% so far, so we're going lower.
There you go. So anyways, guys, enjoy the ride. Of course, we're going to be here on air covering it. And again, guys, historically speaking, when you have these types of downturns, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70%, that becomes the best effing buying.
Well, Nico, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to mention it, but I forgot. Historically, like 30% pullbacks in a bull market are pretty normal. And yeah, we're a little lower than 30% right now, but we basically just had a 30% pullback. And it is interesting that we are literally living the meme right now where, Bitcoin hits all-time high of 126K. It goes to 90K and everyone's like, it's over. Like, we are literally living the memes right now. So part of me is still, again, I'm full denial. I'm in full denial right now. This is a correction. We're going to go higher. But everything is kind of leaning towards bear market. We're entering the bear market. So who knows?
Yeah. I mean, again, I think this is uncharted territory. No one really knows for certain. I'm going to keep saying that. No one knows. But I think some really smart people are saying, look, like, this time is different, right? This time is different. So let's see if this time is actually different, or let's see if, the 4-year cycles stay intact and we are on the verge of, entering into a bear market. Another thing I'll say too, dude, is like, this is very aggressive. Like, we've dropped already 30%, right? So, it's a very aggressive kind of pullback already that we've experienced. So I just want to put that on your guys' radar. Anyways, it's going to be a fantastic show, guys. We have a clip of Jack Mallers talking about his treasury company that he has with Tether and SoftBank called 21. Kind of like a change in strategy, which I thought that was really interesting. And then we have an article, an update for you guys regarding the sentencing of the Samourai wallet developers. And then, of course, we'll talk about the implications of that. And then I think during the culture segment, we're just going to vibe it out. So anyways, guys, it's going to be a fantastic show. We have tons to cover. You guys are going to want to stay tuned. But before we get into that, I do want to give a very special shout out, of course, to our lead sponsor, the best place to build your automatic self-custody Bitcoin stack, bitcoinwell.com. To get started, you go to bitcoinwell.com/simply. You get free points towards the Bitcoin wishing well, and you can create an account for free. And again, you're ready to buy Bitcoin. And what makes Bitcoin Well different is that it's an automatic self-custody Bitcoin on-ramp. So I want you guys to pause the show right now, go to bitcoinwell.com/simply, smash buy, and take an opportunity of buying these cheap sats. If you're a higher net worth individual, a family office, an organization, or a trust, I want you guys to head over to bitcoinwell.com/OTC. Check out the Bitcoin Well Infinite product. Again, it's tailored for people that want to buy $50,000 worth of Bitcoin or more. Again, to get started, go to bitcoinwell.com/OTC. All right, everybody, you guys are going to want to stay tuned. We have tons to cover. We're going to be right back in just a bit. I want to give a shout out to our partner, StampSeed. Is your Bitcoin in cold storage really secure? Are your seed phrases really secure? StampSeed's do-it-yourself kit has everything you'll need for you to hammer your seed words into commercial-grade titanium plates. Instead of just writing them down on paper, paper is fragile. Titanium plates are strong. Your words are actually stamped into the titanium plate with this hammer and these letter stamping tools. Once the words are in, they aren't going anywhere. No risk of the plate breaking apart and pieces falling everywhere. Titanium stamp seeds will survive nearly triple the heat produced by a house fire. They're also crush-proof, waterproof, non-corrosive, and time-proof. And now you can customize your titanium seed plates. You can upload your design or logo, and they will laser engrave it on the back of your seed plate, the opposite side of where the words are. Stamp your seed on StampSeed and use promo code SIMPLY to get 15% off anything on the stampseed.com store. All right, everybody, we are back. At the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is $87,380. Block height 924,452. Market cap 1.74 trillion. Bitcoin versus gold market cap 6.1%. Decline from all-time high negative 30.7%. So it's officially a 30% discount right now. As Opti was saying, this is normal in the course of bull markets.
Well, and historically, we don't know where we are now.
So this has not been normal for this bull market. Is that correct?
I mean, we had no pump. Like we've been sideways, so 30% down feels brutal.
So yes. So anyways, I do have this clip from Jack Mallers, and then of course me and Opti will talk about it.
Yeah. So to be clear, Jack, I mean, you're saying Strategy's model depends on perpetual leverage, whilst 21's model depends on perpetual accumulation, because those are two very different philosophies.
Yeah, I think, this could sound extreme or sound like a dig, but, it's not. We want to be the treasury company that can afford it, right? If you look at Tether and myself and our leadership team, so I co-founded the business with Tether. Our largest outside investor is SoftBank. We have what it takes to build massive cash generating businesses within the industry. Strike is one of the most profitable per employee Bitcoin companies in the world. Tether is probably the most profitable per employee company, period, in the history of mankind. So we have lots of ideas and lots of future plans to build cash flow within the market that gives investors an ability to participate in Bitcoin story through an operating business. And then conversely, we're already the third largest corporate holder of Bitcoin. We will be able to add to that position substantially once we're approved. And we want to be the largest holder of Bitcoin. And we think, we can take the best of what Strategy is, which is a large Bitcoin holder and ability to accumulate, whether it's through monetizing volatility, cheap costs of capital, access to the capital markets, and the best of someone like Coinbase, which is a first mover and a leader within the industries they focus, which Tether and I have been in our careers. So that's us. We do not necessarily want to add leverage to something like our MNAV. We do not want to add leverage to our common equity necessarily. That puts a lot of pressure on future dilution and shareholders to have to finance we don't want new investors being responsible to finance, existing preferred owners necessarily, unless, we're missing something. And if we are, we're going to copy Michael Saylor. But so far, we're watching closely and have more of a directional focus on maybe optimizing for cash flows that would finance something like convertible bonds that we would raise in the future.
That's interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, the differentiator is there. I was talking to somebody this past weekend and they said, are these corporate treasury companies just turning into leveraged Bitcoin ETFs?
Yeah, but the interesting thing about that question is there are leveraged Bitcoin ETFs. If you want to leverage a Bitcoin ETF, you can do that on your own. And so the question is, at 21, what can we provide the market that others can't? And I think the very obvious answer is not everyone is Tether, not everyone has been in Bitcoin 13 years, not everyone has founded Strike, and not everyone is SoftBank. And so we plan to provide, our goal has always been be the best way to participate in Bitcoin's story in the capital markets. We think we can bring both blue chip credibility and startup upside to the capital markets. And we feel as if that was missing. Coinbase, we don't think is a Bitcoin company. We think they're a crypto company. And Strategy does not have Bitcoin native cash flow, does not build Bitcoin products, and is relying on, as far as I can tell, and again, I know I'm going to get all sorts of stuff from Strategy shareholders, and it's not my intention, but I'm just trying to build a delineation of there's, being levered with expectations of financing it through common equity or through Bitcoin sales versus being able to build a business alongside it that can optimize in being levered and being more aggressive in Bitcoin exposure. That's where we want to live.
Yeah.
So again, kind of quite interesting in that regard because again, there's a little bit of a pivot, ladies and gentlemen. And the pivot is, again, these pure Bitcoin treasury companies. I'm not going to name any specific ones. You have Jack Mallers, as the CEO of 21, going out and saying, hey, listen, we actually want to build cash generate. We actually want a cash generating business behind this. And of course he is competing with, Strategy. Now let's kind of pull up bitcointreasuries.net and let's compare and contrast. Do I think 21 can catch up to Michael Saylor's 650,000 Bitcoin? 21 currently has 43,000. That's a long way up. But as Mallers pointed out on his interview, he does have the backing of the most profitable company per employee on planet Earth, which is Tether. And SoftBank has some bags as well, right? It's interesting that he mentioned Strike also. So, it's going to be interesting to me to see how much of these treasury companies survive this bear market, if we are in a bear market, because again, fundamentally at the end of the day, I'm not saying this is going to happen to MicroStrategy. I highly doubt it, but the smaller ones, they fundamentally are levered Bitcoin plays, right? They borrowed money to buy Bitcoin essentially, right? Which is fantastic when you're in a bull market, but when you're in a bear market, look at the price action of a lot of these Bitcoin treasury companies. The price action isn't exactly that great, is it, Opti, right? It's, if Bitcoin goes down 10%, 20%, they go down 40%, right? So, how long until we see one of these blow up? And I'm making a prediction right now on today's show. During this bear market, if we are in one, I believe we are in the beginnings of it. Opti is still in the denial phase. I think we're going to see one of the treasury companies basically capitulate. And I think it's actually going to be acquired. So, let's see, how this plays out. But yeah, it's quite interesting to me, man. This is uncharted territory that we're in, Opti, and it's exciting, man. Life is coming back to the markets, man. Life is coming back to the markets. It's just not the life that we wanted. It's the downward going to zero type of price action. But it's exciting times. But to me, what stood out there, Opti, was the pivot. The pivot. You know, we want to build a cash generating business behind 21. We don't want it to be a pure Bitcoin treasury play. And as much as Jack Mallers tried to, he tried to be nice, at the end of the day, he is SAYLOR's competitor. But as much as Jack Mallers tried to be nice, at the end of the day, it was a shot across the bow. I don't know if you noticed that. Opti.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, dude. It sounded like he literally was calling strategy a Ponzi, bro.
So that was like a shot across. He was
Savage.
a shot across the bow. He's like, look, and look, guys, MicroStrategy generates cash flow. Like, it's not just a Bitcoin. It's not a pure Bitcoin treasury play. Now, I think where Jack Mallers has a point is where he says that that MicroStrategy's cash flow is not coming from the Bitcoin industry. But my response to that would be, does it really matter? Like, cash flow is cash flow, right? So, I could already kind of see what he's doing with 21. I don't know this for certain, but it seems like he's at least he's making it seems like he's making the case that Strike is going to be acquired by 21. Like, he kind of implied that. So, and then of course, it seems like he's also implying that, it's not just a treasury company. They want to build this massive Bitcoin business behind 21, right? Let's see how it happens. If they acquire Strike, that's massive. That's huge, right? And that would obviously be an incredible play for Jack Mallers, because I don't think that it's extremely competitive with the large exchanges that aren't Bitcoin only, because their volumes are so much higher, right? So yeah, I mean, I don't know what your take is on that, Opti, but that was a shot across the bow. That's how I interpreted it, bro. But I mean, they're competitors, dude. Like, obviously 21 wants to be number one on that list, but can he catch up to 649,000 Bitcoin? I don't know.
I don't think so, to be honest. TBH. There's a few things you said. One, I thought you were going to completely ignore that part, but it literally sounded like he was calling it a Ponzi, and he's like, maybe I'm missing something, but like, this is not what I want to do with my company. So that I think that was a bazooka across the bow, bro. But yeah, no, I think, and we actually are starting to see I don't want to call it FUD, but we are seeing these kind of timelines play out right now. I saw, actually, I'm not going to name them, but in the last couple of weeks, we did see some of these Bitcoin treasury companies move Bitcoin. Some of them were selling Bitcoin, saying that, like, yeah, we needed to kind of balance our portfolio. There's another one this morning. Again, we know all these people, so I'm not really trying to like FUD their bags here. They're saying, no, we didn't sell any Bitcoin. We're actually investing in other companies. So like, you can see that people are starting to feel this pressure, where if you do start seeing these Bitcoin treasury companies sell Bitcoin, it's going like, I don't think we've seen how bad a bear market could be if these big Bitcoin treasury companies blow up, because that was the recent narrative right now. And I part of me was thinking while you were going that, like, maybe the reason we didn't see this bull run like we thought it was going to be is because the bull run was in the Bitcoin treasury companies, and we saw them all collapse. And so that kind of makes me think that maybe we won't see a crazy bear market in Bitcoin, because all the action was in the Bitcoin treasury companies. Now, that is that's with saying that none of these companies are going to blow up. If they do blow up, that's probably going to be worse than FTX collapse here, because that was the new hot narrative, and now we got Wall Street coming in. So
I would say
it's going to be brutal if they do blow up.
My opinion
it's
is
over for
like,
real, for real.
I would say, like I'm not even kidding. Like, guys, prepare mentally and financially for $30,000 Bitcoin. I'm not even kidding. There is a cascading effect. You guys have to understand this. Like, if these massive corporations, you guys have to listen, internalize this. This is Wall Street's first bear market in Bitcoin. Okay. And Wall Street levered up to their effing eyeballs, right? And guess what happens when the price starts nuking, right? A lot of these companies, you're already starting to see the very early innings of it, as Opti very astutely pointed out. I wish I could name names, but I'm not going to. But you already see that some of these companies have been selling their Bitcoin positions. A lot of these treasury companies, they've been selling Bitcoin, right? Which again, like, was the point, right? Yeah, this is I would say prepare mentally, psychologically, prepare for $30,000 Bitcoin, baby.
Yeah, the chat is so good right now. I love the chat.
Prepare for it mentally, because this is what Bitcoin does. But again, you can't some people are naming the companies in the chat, so they're doing our job for us. But yeah, I mean, prepare for it. Just prepare for it. We're asking the chat, 403 of you guys.
Nico's scaring me. Just to be clear, that's Nico. This is not the opinions of Simply Bitcoin. These are solely Nico's opinions here.
So I'm telling you, like this is look, guys, if you're new here, like, this is how it works. Like, you don't get these crazy returns without this type of volatility. Like, it doesn't happen. So you have to always psychologically prepare. And I'm telling you this from experience, because I've experienced at least 2 by now, 80 to 70% drawdowns. And I'm telling you, each time I was acting like Opti, right? And I'm telling you, if you mentally and spiritually and physically prepare for them, it's not going to surprise you, because you're just going to be like, okay, this is just going lower, and it's fine, it's okay. But yeah, this is this is interesting. I'm having fun, and the live stream is growing, so it seems like people are enjoying my commentary. And someone in the chat, it's a feature, not a bug. Yes, 100%. I want to end this poll. I asked 426 of you guys on YouTube. I said, is the bull run over? 57% of you guys said no. Remember what I said about the masses?
Wait. Say it again. 50% said no.
57% said the bull run is not over.
It's so over.
43% have said yes, it's over. So yeah, I mean, yeah, guys, have fun. I will say this, guys. The first pro bit, Sophie's gonna ditch Nico and move in with, like, that's so funny. Nico actually think if he's bearish, the market will do the opposite. I snatched some at 87K. Dude, it's at 86K. Smash it again. Time to pump. The bull run never ever happened. 4-year cycle still bound. Wow, the chat's going nuts today. I love it.
Yeah, the chat's going wild. You guys are killing me. It's hilarious.
I love it. No, but look, guys, this is an entertainment show. Simply Bitcoin always has been, but I'm dead serious when I say like prepare. Prepare, because this is the volatility of Bitcoin. This is the game, right? But again, you don't get this type of volatility. If you don't have this type of volatility, you don't get the upside, right? So, this is part of part of being a Bitcoiner. So if you're class of 2025, welcome. You're officially paying your dues. Don't worry, 4 years from now, you're going to feel fantastic. But this is part of it. This is the run of the course, right? Someone in the chat says, this is why we DCA. You'll own nothing and be happy.
This one's better. Nico is the bear final boss.
Oh man. But anyways, guys, if you guys are enjoying the show, you know what to do. Smash that like button. Consider subscribing to Simply Bitcoin Live. It's going to be an incredible show today. We still have tons of content to unpack for you guys. You guys are going to want to stay tuned. We're going to be right back just a bit. I want to give a shout out to our partner, Ledin, the leader in Bitcoin-backed loans. Unlock the liquidity in your Bitcoin without having to sell your Bitcoin. They've issued $9 billion in loans to over 10,000 customers since 2018. I absolutely love these guys. Not only do I have an account with them, but I also have a loan. And what I love about them is that there are no monthly payments, and you could pay back the loan at any time. As soon as you send your Bitcoin as collateral, you'll have cash in your account within 24 hours. Over 1,000 five-star customer reviews, and they've never lost a single dollar or sat of customer money. Go to learn.ledn.io/simply today, and you'll get 0.25% off your first loan. I want to give a shout out to our partner, sat123.com. Sovereignty isn't just about your money. It's about your communications too. When the grid goes down, most people go dark. Cell towers fail in hurricanes, cyber attacks, and blackouts. But satellite phones, they don't rely on local infrastructure. Iridium has 77 satellites in orbit, giving you a direct line anywhere in the US, even offshore. If you hold your own Bitcoin keys, you should hold your own comms too. Sat123.com also has everything you need to start building your Bitcoin citadel. Starlink, battery backups, Faraday bags to protect your hardware wallets, and much, much more. It's a one-stop shop for anyone serious about resilience and off-grid independence. Stay connected, stay independent, stay sovereign. Go to sat123.com/simply today and use promo code SIMPLY to get 15% off anything on the store. I want to give a shout out to our partner, BitKey. If you already self-custody your Bitcoin, you know the deal with hardware wallets by now. Complex setups, clumsy interfaces, and a seed phrase that can be lost, stolen, or forgotten. BitKey fixes that. BitKey is a multi-sig hardware wallet built by the team behind Square and Cash App. It packs a cryptographic recovery system and built-in inheritance feature into an intuitive, easy-to-use wallet with no seed phrase to sweat over. It's simple, secure, self-custody without the stress. Time named BitKey one of the best inventions of 2024. Get 20% off at bitkey.world. That's BITKEY.world with the code SIMPLY. All right, everybody, this is the BitKey wallet that I'm holding in my hand. You want to take self-custody of your Bitcoin, especially in bear market times. Use promo code SIMPLY. You get 20% off. Again, this has multi-sig built in and inheritance. This is the easiest hardware wallet to use on the market. Get yourself a BitKey today. It's made by our friends over at Square and Block, and they made the Cash App app, which is fantastic. It's a great way of acquiring Bitcoin. So head over to bitkey.world today. Use promo code SIMPLY to get 20% off anything on the store. All right, everybody. So before I want to kind of continue the conversation because you guys were having a blast. And yeah, so just kind of chime in. Some people are like, Nico, how could you say this? Like, what's going on? All I'm saying, like, don't kill the messenger. Like, I've seen this before and I've experienced this before. Right. And again, like, if I can go back to my past self, I would say, dude, like, prepare for this, like, have some cash flow, prepare, right? And I wish I would be able to tell that advice to my past self. So like this bear market, I'm just like, okay, all right, here we go. This is okay. This is fine. This is fine. And then it's great because then you can be surprised and get proven wrong if the price rips, right? But if the price doesn't rip, you're mentally and psychologically prepared for it. Unlike Opti, who's in the denial phase.
So the denial is not just a river in Egypt. It is, it is my psychology right now.
So anyways, I do want to share this article, read this article from The Rage. Shout out Lola Leets, but I think the full story was written by Anna. So shout out Anna. And it's a update on the Samourai wallet case. The reason we cover the Samourai wallet case here on Simply Bitcoin is, again, you can't have freedom without privacy. This is basically a form to criminalize privacy, which is specifically protected by the Fifth Amendment in the United States, I believe. I'm not a lawyer, but it's my personal belief, which is no unreasonable searches and seizures. Essentially, the government is trying to make the case that because Samourai Wallet developed this open source software, and a small percentage of people that were using the software were using it for criminal activities, they are the ones that are responsible for it. That's the case that the government is making. I disagree with that. That's like saying that gun manufacturers are responsible for what people do with guns, or car manufacturers are responsible for car accidents, or plane manufacturers are responsible, if something happens, if an accident happens. Like it's the same thing. Like these are tools. Like Samourai was a tool. Like so I don't think it helped that these guys were basically saying, like, they were saying a lot of things on Twitter that was used against them in the court case. So I don't think it helped that they were instigating a little bit. But again, this is what I've said over the last couple of weeks. Like, there's a reason that Satoshi went anonymous. If Satoshi didn't go anonymous, I guarantee you he would be in jail today. Like, with utmost certainty, I guarantee you he would be in jail. If those coins ever move, like, it would like, personally, I think oh man, I don't even want to talk about Satoshi, but I think that those coins are just inaccessible. That's my personal opinion. And there's a reason that Satoshi disappeared. And there's a reason that we've never heard from him again. And this is literally one of the reasons, right? And this goes back to the sovereign individual. Like, this is what's happening, ladies and gentlemen. There is free market money that is now competing with the money that is the money that it comes from the state, right? And the thing is, the free market money is better than the state money, right? So do you think the state is going to give up the power of the money printer? Like, I'm just, like, simple terms for you guys. Do I think the state's going to give up the power of the money printer? No, I do not. Do I think that fiat currencies are going to disappear 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Nope, I don't think so. I think we're going to live in a world where you're going to have fiat and you're going to have Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is going to provide a check and balance, so to speak, right? And I think that's really what's gonna, I think it's gonna be a way for people to save and earn in money that can't be debased by their governments. And you want to know why the European Union is scrambling so hard to get on the CBDC train and the digital ID train, is because they're trying to keep you in that effing system. I actually tweeted this out yesterday. What problems do CBDCs and digital IDs solve? Let me know. Please let me know in the chat. What problems do digital IDs and CBDC solve? So anyways, going back to the topic at hand, you want to know why they're making an example out of the Samourai wallet developers? This is why. They're making an example out of them because I'm going to actually even pull this up so you guys could, like, see that I'm not even a mind reader or a fortune teller. This is a passage from the Sovereign Individual, must-read book if you're a Bitcoiner. Lacking their accustomed scope to tax and inflate. When I talk about tax, I'm not talking about income tax. I'm talking about the inflation tax. Governments, even in traditionally civil countries, will turn nasty. Businesses that offer services that facilitate the realization of autonomy by individuals will be subject to infiltration, sabotage, and disruption. Remember what happened last year. CZ, the CEO of the largest, you call it what it is, crypto casino in the world, right? But it's the largest exchange by volume in the world, right? Maybe Coinbase is overtaken them, but it's one of the largest. CZ was tried in the United States. Arthur Hayes was tried in the United States, and both of them got a pardon by the Trump administration. Both those cases, in my opinion, were politically motivated. Why were they politically motivated? Because when banks do the same effing thing, they get a fine. When our industry gets accused of money laundering and all of that stuff, which again, it's illegal, it's bad. But when our industry does it, they put us in a box. So it's a two-tier justice system. As long as you're playing within the fiat system, that's a fine for you. If you're playing outside of the fiat system, sorry about that, it's not a fine. You get put in a box. And that's what it comes down to. So anyways, here's the latest. William Hill sentenced to 4 years in prison. Samourai wallet developer William Logan Hill has been sentenced to 48 months in prison, 3 years on probation, and a $250,000 fine in New York. Earlier this month, his co-founder was sentenced to 5 years behind bars and the same fine. Prosecutors had requested the maximum possible sentence for Hill. Why? They're trying to make an example out of him so that anyone, if you're an open source developer, you are terrified to make privacy enabling tools. That's what it is about. It is not about the money laundering. It's not about it. So anyways, William Hill had to pause during his speech in front of the judge to hold tears, his family sobbing in second row. I broke the law and I caused significant harm, Hill said. He added that he could see now his pride had led him astray. And although he believed himself to be guided by commitment to privacy and freedom, it was more his hubris that dictated his actions. I've learned a painful but important lesson from this experience. Oh, this is hilarious. It's not a hilarious statement, but it kind of plays into, the meme on I'm not even going to get to that, but yeah, I mean, and of course he has to say this, guys, like he has to say this. He has to say that, he has to say that, he has to say this. There's no other way, right? So 48 months in prison, 3 years on probation, $250,000. If he said anything else during his sentencing, they would have given him more time, right? So in our opinion, like, we're not developers. We don't, we're not involved in any of that, but we do support privacy. I think privacy is a fundamental human right. And there's clearly a two-tier system. And I was watching clips from The Big Short yesterday, and what happened in 2008 and 2009 was a crime, and no one paid the consequences for it. Why? Because it's within the banking system. It's within the system. So fines. People get fired. People get laid off. But because it's outside of the system, they get treated differently. Opti?
Yeah, obviously super unfortunate to see. I don't think anyone's really surprised, considering I try not to remember their names, for I know they were, all about privacy, but I'm not really surprised that this was kind of his charge, considering what we saw with the other dev. Again, I trying not to say their names, even though we already said it, but not really. Again, it's like, yeah, it is a little surprising that he got a little less than his, coworker or partner. I did find that a little bit surprising. Maybe it was because of, the way that he kind of bent the knee in the court.
Okay. I disagree.
Okay.
I think he had to say what he had.
Yeah, that's basically what I mean. Like, I think that might have got him a little lesser charge. Anyways, what I've been kind of saying, though, and I think I'm more convinced of this than ever, and I don't think Nico's really been on the show when I've been saying it, so this might be a hot take for Nico, and we'll get Nico's response to this. But it is very interesting that at the same time that we're seeing Wall Street, nation states start to embrace Bitcoin. Maybe they're, messing with the Bitcoin price to essentially stack some Bitcoin. And there is this narrative about the Bitcoin superpower of the world. At the same time, we're seeing developers be attacked for privacy. And it's not a really good precedent. It doesn't make me feel real good. And it does seem like Wall Street or the nation states, the regulators, however you want, are trying to neuter the more radical edges of Bitcoin. And it seems like they want to continue like the number go up properties of Bitcoin without everything else that comes with it. And maybe this is part of the process of trying to like clean up the image of Bitcoin. And I think what is the craziest part about this is that when you kind of look into, and shouts out to Lola Leach, she's been doing a really good job. I can't actually read her tweet, but go to her Twitter, and she did a really good tweet kind of comparing Toyota to the Samourai wallet. And like when you think of how they are spinning this and saying, hey, because you made some software wallet that is privacy focused, like you're responsible for what everyone does on it. Though I know part of their tweets do make it, I think, a little more of a muddy issue. It is just crazy what we're seeing right now. And it really makes me feel like a lot of people aren't going to continue to create softwares that do usher in more freedom and more privacy for all of us. And I think that's super unfortunate. So it's not really good precedent that we're seeing. And it is like at the same time that the price is kind of dumping. And I don't mean to laugh here because it's a very serious issue, but we are seeing some attack vectors that Bitcoiners have been talking about for a long time, and they're happening right now. While everyone's been distracted about running what node to run, we are seeing some very legitimate attacks coming, whether it's from Wall Street, whether it's on the privacy front. So maybe this year was the year that we deserved overall, considering that we all were kind of losing the plot throughout the year and we were kind of distracted about what's going on. So yeah, that's probably my take on this whole thing.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. We're going to be right back just a bit. We're going to feel the vibes during the culture. That's what the culture is all about. We're going to be right back just a bit.
I want to give a shout out to our partner, HIVE Digital Technology. Why HIVE in 2025? Unstoppable growth. As the first ever public miner, HIVE's position to quadruple their global footprint, making them one of the world's fastest growing miners in 2025. And with elite operations that consistently top the industry in Bitcoin mined per exahash, HIVE's now headquartered in the USA. They're lean and mean, they're green and clean, and they're rewriting the playbook on sustainable Bitcoin mining. You can catch the latest buzz at HIVE Digital Tech or at hivedigitaltech.com. I want to give a shout out to our partner, bitcoinben.io. If you're into freedom, Bitcoin, and building a real community, this is for you. Gain exclusive access to real-world, members-only, private clubs across the globe, featuring poker nights, expert-led classes, co-working spaces, educational meetups, live events, and more. Current locations include Sarasota, Nashville, Boston, Dallas, Las Vegas, and St. Louis, with new clubs launching soon in West Palm Beach, Scottsdale, Alabama, and beyond. Not to mention Bitcoin Ben's resorts in El Salvador. There's 3 of them, and they're absolutely beautiful. You'll also get access to the first fully backed Bitcoin bank with fiat ramps and savings accounts. It's called Private Key Bank, and you guessed it, it's based out of El Salvador. Go peer-to-peer with Bitcoin bulk buys, tap into home equity for long-term Bitcoin growth, and join their exclusive mining pools if you're interested in mining. What are you waiting for? Head over to bitcoinben.io, join today, where Bitcoin meets freedom.
Yeah, so vibe check. Everyone in the chat, let me know what you think. Before we just do a general, shoot the shit here, because it is a therapy session. Let me check the Bitcoin price just so we can
86,444.
86. Well, I'm saying 86 too, but perfect. All right, general vibe check here. I did want to kind of talk about this. I'm not going to read it because it is a little long, so I'll just drop in the chat for you guys. I think it's a good read. I think it's a balanced read here. And it's the guy that did the Bitcoin IPO moment. He just dropped this the other day, which is the light at the end of the turbulence 2, because he did another one. And it maybe I'm coping, as I've been telling you. I'm probably coping the whole show. I'm in denial. I'm looking at what we're doing, and I'm like, it can't be over. That's my whole thought. It just can't be over. But when I read this article, it did make a lot of sense. And the TLDR for it is essentially, since we saw that Bitcoin IPO moment, he thinks that the distribution kind of that we're seeing from OG whales, and I don't know if you guys saw this morning, but another OG whale from 2011 sold 11,000 coins on Kraken, a total of like 1.3. Oh no, so he sold a total of 11,000, I believe. And he sold another like 230 million this morning, and it's like a total of 1.3 billion the last month. So the IPO meme, I think, holds a lot of water. And I was talking with Luke about this article, and he's like, I don't really like the guy. He just doesn't get the right vibes from him. But when I was reading this article, essentially, again, he's kind of doubling down on this idea that 2026 we're going to see some tailwinds, and that what we're seeing right now, the mass kind of hysteria, the fear and greed index being so low. Actually, we're on this run right now where the fear and greed index hasn't been this negative for this long ever. And all of this is just making me feel that even though the poll in the chat, you guys are all think the bull run isn't over, so I might have to clarify on that. I might have to take back what I'm going to say, but I am kind of leaning towards the macro cycles that we're seeing right now. Hold on. Excuse me, guys. The macro cycles that we're seeing right now, and the kind of liquidity drying up, and what seems to be the money printer cycle turning on in like next month for the US. Well, rather, QT's dying next month, or rather in like a week or two. And then we're starting to see the money printers go globally right now, or at least starting to warm up. So if we do see something similar and we start to see the money printers get turned on again, then 2026 could really surprise us. And especially since no one knew what was going on in 2025, I wouldn't be that surprised if 2026 we see something crazy that we've never seen before again. How many new things did we see this cycle? All-time high before the halving. No parabolic year. We see OG whales selling, a lot of coin hitting the exchange. Wouldn't it just be so fitting that we see some crazy price action in 2026?
We're going down that.
That's where I'm going. So let me see what the chat's saying. We are all coping, Opti. It's going up forever. Bear market started at the beginning of February. I'm buying 2 times a week. Bitcoin therapy is a thing, really. Oh man. Yeah. So I don't know. I think we're all just coping, man. No one knows what this is. I think this is a shakeout. When Bitcoin goes back over 100K, a lot will sell and regret it. And when it goes up to 150K, that might be the case. That might be the MSTR is going parabolic to the downside. Yeah, you guys are funny. Oh man. Well, I don't know if our therapy worked today, Nico.
Man, I mean, I think I'm playing bad cop. You're playing good cop.
As always.
But yeah, I mean, guys,
I'm playing bullish cop. You're playing bearish cop.
Listen,
nothing's changed.
Listen, guys, you only have one life. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the Bitcoin roller coaster. It's time like these that you'll remember, that you'll cherish. Many years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, a decade from now, you'll be laughing your ass off. You'll be like, dude, remember when Bitcoin fell to 86,000? I remember, and I'm telling you this, guys, I remember riding this up to 20K in 2017 and then going down to 3,500. I was like, dude, it's over. It's done. It's like, this is never going to happen. It's going to recover, whatever. Ripped 3,500 to 69,000. Then from 69,000 to 16,000 felt terrible. And then 16,000 to 126,000. So, let's see where the bottom ends up. If this is a bear market, I hope that Lynn is right. I hope that SAYLOR is right. I hope that this cycle is fundamentally different, because they are right. Like, the halvings play less and less and less an effect. But the thing is, the 4-year cycle is a thing until it gets unproven. So until we're in January of 2026 and the price is above 100K, then I'll say, hey, the 4-year cycle is over. It's done. We're in uncharted territory. And I will be just as excited as my brother here, Optimus Fields. But until then, the 4-year cycle is intact from my perspective. So
yeah, the chat is killing me today.
Do you guys want? Do you want me to lie to you guys? Like, I'm telling you my perspective. Anyways, guys, go outside, touch some grass, take advantage of the cheap sats right now. Sats are on a discount. Buy some Bitcoin, not financial advice. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for a brand new episode of Simply Bitcoin Live.
Today's episode was brought to you by BitcoinWell.com, a Bitcoin-only platform on a mission to enable financial independence.